I feel like we lost the plot somewhere along the way. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm very confused and destroyed. So if you check the video title, you will see that what in God's name is a he/him lesbian. I'm gonna explain to you what it is, because I know what it is actually. I'm gonna explain it to you. A masculine presenting lesbian who feels comfortable in masculine pronouns like he/him, but still identifies as a lesbian. That's what it is. Just want to point that out. Also, there's the aspect of trans men being lesbians, also being identified as a he/him lesbian as well. Is somebody who is gender non-conforming, non-binary, gender fluid, or even trans mask, a person who still identifies with lesbian culture and lesbian attraction patterns. It's gonna help. Just hear me out here before you comment anything. And it's someone who rejects strict gender norms and categories, seeing pronouns as more of a way of a separate label to express themselves. That's what I understand. Now, why does this exist? It's because lesbian identity isn't strictly tied to womanhood for everyone because of the non-binary category in general. People see lesbian as more of an attraction of patterns, just anything non-man, more so than rigid identity. For some, using he/him, I just want to make sure I'm right about this, using he/him pronouns feels affirming, especially if they're gender non-conforming, but they still feel rooted in lesbian experiences. So this is very important to me. Same way as someone once told me they're bisexual, but they don't date women, they date non-binary people and men. Same thing here. Now, albeit me to feel as though we are hitting a looping point of horseshoe theory, but I would like to point something out. Let's say me, for example. Let's say if I was a straight man and I was attracted to simply whole, I'll be a gynosexual. I'd be strictly attracted to the gynecological. I would be strictly attracted to that. Or you could be a lesbian, strictly attracted to cis women. Now, in the real world, you're going to use these with for your friends, or more so if you want to further explain people you are close to, is what you're going to explain these to people. You're not going to use this as a quantifiable acceptance thing for everybody to understand. It's meant to be for people around you to further be introspective. But I'm discovering, and this is very agitating, that people care more about the title than the actual introspective journey. And I feel like we've looped back. We've hit a loop because we have lesbians saying, I am not attracted to trans women. I'm just attracted to cis women and non-binary people that are AFAB. So they have to be very specific about what they say. I feel as though we have reached a loop. I feel like we've double back in on itself of saying the same thing with many more words. We've gotten really specific with our categories. And I love specifications. I love speccing into specific classes. I'm a dark mage, specifically, that uses necromancy, but I don't use incantations. Very important there. It's very important to have specifications and understanding. But I feel as though it's almost too complex. It feels like I'm learning about Warhammer 40k all over again. It feels as though I am learning the entire lore and spectrum of Deltarune and Undertale. It feels as though WD Gaster is hitting my brain again. It feels as though we have lost the plot, is what I feel as though we're happening right now. It's messing me up. It's destroying me. Because I just gotta ask you a question here. Gender and sex are two separate things, right? From my understanding, this is what I grasp. Sex is male, female, intersex. Cool. And then gender is everything else. Man, woman, the ideas, the societal ideas. Where do these ideas come from? They come from some stereotyping. For instance, more feminine traits. A lot of trans women need to be passing, so they'll put on more feminine things. A lot of trans men will see the idea of a man and want to copy that, or feel more affirmed when they get the idea of a man. Or some people just don't want to be women or men. They get out of the binary in totality. And there's simple ways you can do that. There's gender fluid things of that variety. You share like your different genders. Whole thing there. Whole big bang caboodle, right? That's what my understanding is. And I am trying to understand. I feel old. I feel really old when I learn about this stuff. I feel old because we are now changing definitions of everything. It's very fun to do so. Very fun. And language evolves. We are able to evolve language. Words can mean different things. But what do you say if you are just attracted to cis women? Or what do you say if you only want to date trans women? Or what do you say if you only want to date trans men or just men in general? It's many different categories for it. There's a phallic sexual where you're attracted to the phallus. That's a whole thing. That's a real thing. I looked it up. There's finsexual where you're attracted to femininity. And it feels in so many different ways of saying that I'm attracted to people. We've lost the plot because I feel like these gender is personality. That's what I'm feeling nowadays. I'm just feeling gender is personality. And if we just said my personality preference is X, my personality preference is Y, it would simply be significantly easier. My personality is more centered to the stereotype of being a man. My personality is more centered to being the stereotype of a woman. Because I feel like we've somehow looped back to getting to the same beginning point of where we once started, is what I feel. The same way I feel about gender and sex is the same way I feel about race and ethnicity. I have a friend named Zhao. Zhao is white. His race is white. His mother and father are white. But ethnically, he's Chinese. He was raised in China. His parents were raised in China, born in China. A few ancestors back is nothing but Chinese people. They've primarily been white people in China, but they know nothing of American culture. So ethnically, they are Chinese. They speak fluent Chinese. Whole family does. Cool guy. Really, really, really good at killing floor 2. Amazing man. Love to hang out with him. That's how I feel about gender and sex. For instance, AFAB person, assigned female at birth, right? Hear me out here. That is their sex, female. If you are a trans woman, you are AMAB, assigned male at birth. At birth, that changes through time. That can change. Now, primarily, you can, in some aspects, change aspects of your ethnicity. I imagine you should be able to change and go and flow depending on the cultural of what you're around. That's how it happens. There are some white people who are raised in Africa, so they're white racially. Race is white. The genetic makeup of what they are is white, but the cultural makeup of what they are is African, and that can be changed as well. That's how it operates. I know a Chinese dude who speaks perfect Spanish. He was raised by Mexicans, and by all means, he's racially Chinese, but he is ethnically Mexican. That's what happens. That's how it works. So this is what I feel is the same difference between gender and sex. Because this he, him, lesbian thing has put a wrench in my understanding of life. I genuinely don't understand it. I grasp it. Someone's going to say, it's not meant to be understood. You just got to respect it. But I'm going to keep it a beam with you. I think lesbian means women loving women. I think there's already a term for non-men in the whole thing there. That's bisexual. That's the whole thing. Where you can love women and non-men. That's bisexual. We already get, or pansexual. You can just do that. Pansexual, but I don't like men. Easy work. I know some lesbians who refuse to date anybody with a phallic member. They would be gynosexuals. That's easy. We got it. We got specifications. We got words for it. You're trying to reinvent the words that are already there and take those away from people who are using those words is a big issue there. This is weird. You know what's crazy? I didn't think I'd be talking about this. I didn't think I'd be learning about this. I was a Crip. When I grew up, I was a Crip. I was selling illicit substances, doing wild things, drive-by stuff of that variety. I didn't think I'd be talking about this. This is because I want to understand. I like learning. Learning is my favorite thing. But I feel as though somewhere along the line, somewhere we have lost the main core message of what the LGBTQ is. And I want to explain this because it's very important. The LGBTQ, what it is an introspective journey of discovering oneself. It is exploring your sexualities and what better fits your personality type and your gender labels. You may not have felt like a woman because the idea of a woman in society is not you. You don't want to wear dresses. You don't want to stay inside the house. You want to get a career. You want to be driven. You want to embrace a different aspect of your personality. Now, some people can say that I'm still a woman, despite the fact that I don't fit into the category of woman. I like working on cars and things of that variety because they in actuality want to express a different part, but they still live in their womanhood because they are powerful, strong, resilient women that are against the gender norms of society. That's a part of the LGBTQ. Another part is I feel like the stereotype of a woman. I feel the idea of a woman in society better fits me. I did not agree with the idea of a man. You can be a feminine man, or you can be a trans woman, or other categories there. There's a bunch of other things you can be. It's very important. And if you don't feel like you fit with men or women and your personality is special and unique, and you don't fit within the binary of gender in totality, some days you're masc, some days you're feminine, that's gender fluid and non-binary. That's personalities. So many words, so many same words to say my personality is different. So many different words to say the same thing we already have. But it's new language being invented because gender is a performance for a lot of people. It's a performance. It's to show the world what they are. So they're trying to change the world to show that they're changing themselves. But sometimes people change the world so they don't have to change themselves. And thus we have conflict and butting heads with people. We have butting heads with this. This is where I have a problem. Whenever someone describes to me their journey, and I'm a guy. I'm just a dude. I'm not non-binary. I'm just a guy. Whenever someone describes their journey, they often tell me the same things. I don't conform with the ideas of the societal whatever hoo-ha. I just don't agree with it. Same thing over and over again. That's what I keep hearing. And when I hear this, I think to myself, well, maybe it's just you don't agree with the idea, and that's fair. You don't have to agree with the idea. There are people that break down the gender norms and have progressive things all the time. And if you want to express it through gender, by all means, do that. You can do it. All means. But it should be more about the personal journey more than having everybody accept you. And it sucks when people don't see you who you truly are. But we are trained to judge a book by its cover. You look at me, you see a black guy with a big afro, you think I'm crazy, weird. You might even think that I don't speak articulate. Very fair. Fair analysis. I'm proud of you. You're good. You would have no idea that I did gang activities back in the day. You have no idea about my past. You have no clue about what's going on. And that's fair. Some people have incorrectly assumed I am non-binary. Don't really know where that came from. Never said that once, ever. Some people have incorrectly assumed that for some odd, inexplainable reason, that I'm American. I was not born in America. Not at all. Born in Alexandria. That's where I was born. Sucks to have assumptions made about your character and who you are, but that's life. That's what happens. That's the way the world works. We're not going to get past this. We're not. Because humans are pre-notioned to judge. That's how we are. If you keep stressing out about being judged by people who would never care if you died or lived, you're going to ruin your life. The bigger issues are getting gender-affirming care and things that help you out in the long run so you can actually be the truest version of yourself. That's what matters the most. We were having nonsense arguments about he, him lesbians. Live and let be, I suppose. Live and let whatever. Live and let Buddha. Live and let Allah. Live and let God. Whatever you may worship or follow. I don't care. Because it feels stupid to argue this stupid little point when there are so many bigger things going on. Arguing for the sake of having an argument is what it feels like. And it is very, very draining. What is a he, him lesbian? Somebody that's working through figuring out what they are is what it is. It's very silly. It's very, very silly.